Imagine doing this for 50 straight hours. As Alex Cape
Good to go.
and Susan Simmons
We'll see you in 50 hours.
took their last few steps off land into a swimming challenge they'd never forget. A non-stop 105-kilometer open water swim here on Lake Cowichan. It's the longest swim of its kind on record. In order for the swim to count as a record, there were strict rules. Escort kayaks and swimmers were allowed, but at no time could Alex or Susan touch the boats. The swim could only count if they ended up on land. Weeks before the estimated 2-day-long swim, we caught up with Alex, Susan, and their support team at practice.
This is pushing the boundaries of what is humanly possible.
The two met in Masters Swim Club and are no strangers to marathon swims.
Well, I think the first year that Alex and I did that, we probably did get You Guys Are Nuts, and now they're just, it's just Alex and Susan.
They conquered 34 kilometers in 2013, and in 2014,
Susan has been swimming now for, are we just hitting 30 hours? 30 hours.
Susan and Alex battled through hallucinations and even falling asleep, completing a 70-kilometer, 32-hour swim. Taking on 105K was Susan's idea.
Knowing Susan, I figured that there was really only one answer to that question, which is, yeah, it's possible.
Alex Cape, an Army medic, avid swimmer, and hockey player, needed little convincing.
I'm always wanting to push boundaries and see how far I can go and how far the human spirit can go and all of those kind of, motivators.
Susan's motivation goes a little deeper. At 30 years old, she was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis.
When I was first diagnosed with the disease, I thought, I can't do anything. I'm just going to sit at home all the time and not have much of a life. And my doctors actually told me not to exercise, and I got progressively worse. I gained weight, I got weaker and weaker. My symptoms would be, my legs and arms would go numb. When you can't walk a block without being exhausted, that's a little frightening.
At 40, 10 years after being diagnosed, Susan knew she needed to make a change.
I just thought I'm going to jump in the pool because I know I won't overheat. I know I love swimming and it's something that I can do, and I jumped in and started swimming.
Now in her 50s, Susan calls the combination of exercise and the cooling of the water her greatest therapy.
Haven't stopped.
The lake, her healing chamber. Alex Cape, alongside her every stroke.
How far did we go this year?
1.3 million meters. Well, you develop a relationship, that people do joke around and say that we're like an old married couple. It's because we
kind of are.
So much time together. We
Yeah.
have a very close friendship because of that.
Back at Lake Cowichan, just 4 hours into the 105K swim, choppy conditions begin to take their toll on Susan's health.
Well, when I first started getting sick, I thought this isn't good. And then when I got really sick and I threw up, I thought this is really bad.
The vomiting persisted and her stomach pains worsened. Susan tried different medicines and willed her way to another 14 hours in the water. But eventually, she couldn't go on.
In the end, my stomach won. Knowing that I swam for 18 hours with motion sickness, which kind of feels like food poisoning, I'm okay with that. I still think that's pretty incredible achievement.
Meanwhile, for Alex, by day 2, she had surpassed last year's 70-kilometer swim and was now in unfamiliar territory. Her memories of the swim, a hazy fog.
It almost feels like I was abducted by aliens. I know that 3 days on the calendar came and went, but I don't remember a whole lot of it, and it was like I wasn't there, but I was there.
Susan watched Alex from a nearby safety boat and noticed her friend was getting weaker.
She started hallucinating, but was still very with it because she had a hallucination, and then 5 minutes later checked again, and she said, no, it's definitely a hallucination because I saw the same thing here as I did back there, which I thought, that's great. She's aware of what's going on.
Alex fought exhaustion, battled through hallucinations, and falling asleep in the water. When she reached a landing point, after 94 kilometers and over 51 hours in the water, her swim had come to an end. Alex Cape earned a world record and a trip to the hospital.
They gave me 8 bags of fluid. I was a little bit puffy afterwards.
Susan and Alex may not have reached their goal of 105 kilometers, but their spirit inspired others to swim alongside, reaching their own 105.
And we had quite a few of our friends and teammates swim 10-kilometer pieces and other, like, more than anyone has ever swum for themselves too. So it was really neat to not have it just be about the two of us, have other people have a chance to push themselves or you know, go beyond their own limits.
Alex Cape says she hasn't decided whether she'll attempt the feat again. As for Susan,
So if I can manage the motion sickness, find ways to deal with that, I will be making another attempt.